All right, friends, I have a new setup, but it's really, really confusing. It is very confusing to figure out when it is that I'm actually live. Yeah, here's what we're doing today. I don't even know if I've said this before because it is so confusing when you actually go live with my new rig. As you can see, no green screen behind me. I am in the process of completely rebuilding my studio. But the first thing that I got is the system all built, which is a state of the art like setup for streaming. Two monitors, best laptop that Apple makes, new audio interface. Like I went all in on setting up a new setup. But as you can see behind me, the office needs to be rebuilt, and I need to move my green screen over because I used to do everything over in this little corner over here, and so I'm basically rebuilding the whole thing. So that's why there's a massive pile of stuff over on the ground. So we'll get there. We'll build it. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was the studio. So it seems like there's a massive delay on this new setup, but this is what we're doing today. We are here. Yeah, you want to see Gary? It's a massive setup. Like it's it is a big computer setup. I bought the biggest desk that I could find. I think it's like 70 something inches because I just wanted more tabletop space, and then I have a swivel here to run a second camera. So if I later on, if we do streams where I want to do something with my hands, you can see my hands. So it just really gives me the ability to do a lot of different stuff. Okay, but this is what we're doing tonight. Tonight I'm going to answer any questions that you have about Drape, my Star Wars fan film that I made inside of the Halcyon when I went there with my buds. It was such a unique experience getting to go to the Halcyon, and I kind of knew that by the time my video would come out that there would already be so many like standard review videos and everybody would already had seen a lot of things. So I thought it would be interesting to show you something different and to do something different and to kind of really hold Disney accountable on the promise that they had made. Can you actually live a Star Wars story at the hotel? So I thought that that would be a fun challenge to take on. So I'm just going to take your questions. I would prefer that we only talk about the video and how I made it, because I will be working on an actual like review video of the hotel. I'm just kind of waiting a little bit, letting all the halcyon burnout sort of fade away. So I'd like to keep that in my back pocket. If you could respect that, then I will do my best to answer any questions you have about the movie. Okay, let's jump in here now, and you'll see when I answer your questions that there's probably a pretty big delay going on, but we'll get it all figured out. It's all new, and I promised myself I wouldn't get frustrated or get stressed out because I'm like so obsessed with always being like as pro as possible. And I think just getting up to HD and having a clear camera is a step in the right direction. AS, is the Goonies poster for sale? Yes. No, it's stuck to the wall. That's a poster that my friends James Flames did, and it is an amazing poster, hand printed, amazing. And AS, thank you so much for the super chat. I believe it. Jeff Pike, was your drape outfit hot? It was it was hot on the Halcyon. Like I felt like they could have had the AC turned up way more, considering so many people were wearing, Star Wars costumes, which tend to be a lot of fabric. So it was a little bit warm, but I will tell you this. Everybody who accuses me of wearing a shower curtain, it was a curtain. The character's name wasn't Shower Guy, it was Drape. So please do not call it a shower curtain. It's very offensive from the planet of Curtinia. All right, let's see here. David Gallo, did anyone catch on to what you were doing? All right, that's an interesting question. And I'll tell you why I think that's an interesting question. Because I believe that the hotel is very, I don't want to make this sound big brother because we're all playing a game together, right? But I think that the hotel is very mic'd. I noticed that when you talk to the characters, they obviously have like a little headset microphone so that they can, talk over a PA system. But they're also speaking to the game masters that are backstage, that are sort of running the game. And I also believe that when they're talking, that they are mic'd so they can hear things around you. So I know in the comments, a lot of people were like, whoa, I wonder if Disney was weirded out that a guy was, doing space drugs inside the hotel. I think they knew exactly what we were doing. I think that they were able to overhear me and my friends laughing that I was putting cinnamon and sugar in my beverages and that I was goofing around because, when you watch the video edited, it looks as if I'm Drape the entire time. And it simply wasn't the case. Like I would just kind of live my life, do a little bit of filming and go back to living my life. So I think Disney very well and the staff very well knew that I was just doing exactly what I was doing. And there was never anybody who's like, what are you up to? Is there anything sort of nefarious going on? So I think that they had a good idea that I was just there to have fun. Or here's the other, or in space, there are no rules and you can just do all the drugs you want on the hotel. So, I mean, it could be one or the other. I don't know. I mean, who knows? We've never been to space before. This is a first. Let's see here. Matt Mamelka says, Drape question. Why did you make the decision to not include part of the Rise or Falcon rides and only the pre-show for the short film? Just wondering from a creative perspective. Okay, so Rise broke down. So I still have not ridden Rise on the East Coast because it just always is broken when I'm there. So the reason why you didn't actually see me on Rise is because I never made it on Rise. And the reason why you didn't see me in the Falcon is because I didn't really need it for what I was doing. And I wanted to save some things in Galaxy's Edge if I were to ever do a part 2 of Drape, that there would still be some pieces and parts that I didn't fully exploit in the first one. So as a creative decision, it wasn't like I wasn't trying to do those, because I definitely had some ideas of what I wanted to try to do, talking to all of the First Order officers in the hallways, but I don't know how well I could have integrated the rides into what I was doing. But I do have an idea for the Falcon. Okay, let's see here. Let me take another question. Something to think about. On Apple TV, the chat runs on the same side you're standing on. Well, my microphone's on this side, so how's this, Apple TV? And typically when I'm doing other things, I'll be in a little box. So sorry about that. Sorry, Apple TV. This isn't very convenient for everybody. Sorry, Wally. Tony, what's up, my man? If you guys know, Tony sometimes does the podcast with me, which will be coming back soon. I've just been taking my time to rebuild the studio, set up the new computer, and just kind of like really get a lot of nuts and bolts done so I could build a better future for the channel myself. Tony said, did you face any resistance, pun intended, from any cast or guest? No, I didn't actually. Like, everybody was there to have a lot of fun. Like I said earlier, Drape, the video, is a big time span edited down to like 27 minutes. So like a lot of the conversations that you see in the video are actually just like little pieces cut out of bigger conversations. And anybody that I talked to, like for example, Miguel, who was in the atrium there, that was asking me things, and I was trying to get a refund from him because the First Order had boarded the ship. He asked me what my name was, and I told him my name was just Drape. And then he was trying to find my reservation, because as you interact with cast members, they start to set up your next activities. So I kind of had to break character and be like, oh, well, my real name is Mark Brickey and I'm booked under this name as the name of my room. And so then when we broke character, I was like, dude, I'm having so much fun. And he's like, I'm having fun too. And then we both went back into character. So like, other than the captain of the ship, who never once broke character, a lot of those conversations were just fun, and everybody was on board for it, because I think people that are there to actively pursue things kind of stick together because it makes it more fun and immersive. But there was also a guy I talked to who didn't know the name of stormtroopers. I was like, how's your day going? Because I saw him in Batuu, and you know, you're all wearing that pin that says you're a Halcyon guest. And he goes, oh, it's so cool. He's like, the white robot guys came up to me and were talking to me. And I was like, bro, you booked a hotel room and you don't know that they're called stormtroopers? By the way, it's a standing desk, so now I'm free to move around. Okay, let's jump back in here. Dude, Dano Channel, what's up, my man? It was so awesome to get to hang out with you inside of Batu. I'm sure you guys know Dano because his channel's way bigger than mine, but this is the dude that puts together the droid meetups and stuff. Like an amazing Star Wars member of the community and just such a rad dude. Hopefully I'll be seeing you May the 4th inside of Batu, or at least at Celebration. All right, let me see. Let me find another question here. I don't see a question right in front of my eyes, so I'll just go with one on my own. Federalist 45. How much in-character stuff did you do when not shooting Drape? How much character stuff did you do when not shooting Drape? I'm not really sure what you mean about that, but I was pretty much, I think I have an idea what you're saying. I was pretty much focused on my movie. And so as far as doing different quests and stuff, like I did the lightsaber thing, you know, I did a couple of different like side quests, but like I said in the intro of the movie, like I don't really enjoy that kind of stuff. So I was very focused on what I was doing, to the point where I would say that it maybe slightly ruined my experience, because I was very, very stressed out the whole time that it wasn't going to work out and that I would had just filmed and have nothing to put together. In fact, when we first got there, I went down into the mess hall or the dining area, and I was just sitting in the table, just like staring off into space. And Spencer goes, what's going on, Brickey? And I was like, I'm just trying to put this thing together in my head. And he goes, oh, I kind of thought you were in that creative zone. And I was literally just sitting there in a panic, like, man, I didn't watch any videos before I did the experience. And I kind of started thinking like, man, maybe watching some videos would have been smart, because I would have had a better strategy for what I was doing. So yeah, I was pretty stressed out the whole time. Dano says, how much of the whole story was planned out ahead of time, and how much did you just let happen? So it was kind of like, oh, you'll be at Disneyland on May the 4th. I'll be there too, bud. I got tickets. I can't wait to see you there. So, okay, this is what I did. And I kind of think that for a guy who's not that bright, this was a smart move on my part. I knew who my character was, and I knew his intentions and why he was there. And I just used that mindset every time I interacted with a cast member or a guest that was in my video. And so therefore, I didn't know where the conversations were going to go, but I knew why Drape was having that conversation. And then kind of, I think maybe the smartest thing that I did, and I did it on 2 different levels. This is the camera that I use. This is a Sony ZV-1. It's a very small point and shoot camera that normally this lens goes on. So it's about yay big. I purposefully didn't talk into the camera because, Dan, I knew my character and I knew my intentions, but I didn't know how the story was going to come together. And so therefore I knew that if I just kept filming myself, that I could tell the full story in the vocal overdub. And I also knew that if I did it that way, then I could edit the video very much out of its time sequence. And now there's another big reason why I decided to film myself a lot and not talk too much, is because I didn't ruin the event for anybody else. It wasn't like if I was sitting next to you, I was like, I've got to sell my spice. I'm so worried that the First Order is going to be after me and Sweetie. And you'd be like, what's this nut job? You know what I mean? People paid a lot of money to be there. I paid a decent amount of money to be there. And I wanted to respect everybody's good time. So not talking into camera gave me the ability to do a lot of filming the movie around other people, but not interfere for anyone, but also to have clean footage for the end. After this stream, this free stream, for just everybody over on YouTube, I'm doing a stream for my members of Club 1313, where I'm actually going to show them some of the raw footage so that you can see how I basically carved out of these big, long conversations the part that I use. But I'll try to show everybody here something real quick that I think that you might enjoy kind of getting another a look into the process here. Let me see if I can just throw this over on my share screen. New setup, so this might take me a second. Give me just one moment. No pressure. Okay, let me see if I can bring this over here real quick. Y'all just feel free to talk amongst yourselves. By the way, I have a survey up. I'm back to live streaming. I'm going to slowly build the studio while you guys watch, and you can take the survey to say what it is that you would like to do when we do our stream on Monday. Okay, so this will kind of give you an idea. Dan and anybody else, let me switch over to the video share screen. Okay, so this is what I did. This is pretty crazy. So over on the far right of the screen, you'll see that's everything that I shot. Okay, like I came home, I looked at all my footage, and that's everything that I had. Over on the left of the screen, you'll see my outline. And my outline was sort of the story of Drape that I had preconceived on my way going there. So then you can also see that they're color coded because I edit all my videos in Premiere Pro. AS with the second super chat of the night. Thanks, bud. So on the left, you can see that it's all color coded. Those are the colors that we are given as default colors for footage and files inside of Premiere Pro. So as I watched my video, I color coded things if I thought that it sort of felt that story. And so you can see that I took scene shot, took my story, and I started matching and crisscrossing footage together just so that I would have an idea of how I was going to edit it. And then this shows 13 scenes, but a lot of these scenes kind of got condensed. And then as I was going on, I'm like, well, this scene, I can convey this thought someplace else, because the other thing I was very, very worried about was runtime. And I wanted to make sure that the video all out, even with the little intro in the beginning, was only 30 minutes, because too much is too much. And that technique of editing, that intense, like following the music, it's a lot of work. So I wanted to try to keep it inside of that space. So that's kind of an idea of the workflow that I put together. AS with my second super chat of the night. Thank you so much, AS. You're the man. So if your Disney hotel has you check out at 11, but you can't board the Halcyon until 1, do you have any ideas on what guests can do in character between? All right. So me and AS, we went on this trip together. And we checked out of our hotel, but we couldn't get into the Halcyon until 1. So we were dressed in our costumes we went to the Polynesian and had breakfast, and then we're kind of hanging out there. And this is the best part. Our Uber driver that took us from the Poly to where we met up to go to the Star Wars hotel. There's an Uber driver somewhere that thinks that we have a YouTube channel called Space Cowboy and the Magician. Because he looked at us and goes, "What are you guys?" And AS just goes, "Oh, Space Cowboy and a Magician." And so somewhere that guy's looking for Drape because he thought that was the channel. All right. What's up, Stephanie Doyle? How are you doing? Okay, Jeremy says, if you were to do this again, what would you do differently? Oh, that's such a good question. Okay, so what I would do differently if I were to do this exercise again is I would shoot more POV so that you could see where Drape's at and what Drape's doing. And before I finished the video, I sent a rough edit over to Peter from Ordinary Adventures, and he goes, I'd really like to see more of what you're seeing. And I was like, I would too, but that footage doesn't exist because I was really just kind of so fixated and worried about what I was doing and keeping my eyes on myself. Something else I would do again is I wouldn't look into the camera because I was always trying to figure out where my shot was, and my eyes kept zigzagging across the camera. And if I were to do it again, I would just hold the camera out. I would know that I'm in frame and I wouldn't look at it so I could have longer shots of me, because it's really cut up a lot because I kept looking down to make sure I was in frame or that the aperture or whatever was correct. And it would have been a lot easier to edit if I didn't do that. Okay, so Scary Gary wrote a question that says, when did you make the decision to go from radio opera to a larger, more edited feature instead? Was that just in the moment? So what Gary's talking to is like when the hotel was first announced, I said, I'm going to try to go in that hotel. I'm going to try to go there as soon as possible. And I'm going to record a radio play telling you how well I was able to live my Star Wars story. And I'll tell you the reason why I had pitched that to the audience, Gary, was that I thought there's no way I'd be able to shoot an actual video. Just no way did I think I'd be able to shoot a video and visually tell the story. So I thought by doing it as a radio play, I could go in and add in Star Wars sound effects and do a narrator of what was happening and tell you the story from a narrator's perspective. But then when I got there, I started looking around. I'm like, I think I can actually film this. And so when I was sitting in the mess hall there, sort of in this like 90 minutes of panic, it was me being like, okay, so if you film this, how does that work? How does it look like? How can you edit that? And I was just sitting there like, you know, beautiful mind, but like a dumb mind. And I was trying to figure out, I think I can pull this off. And I'm so glad that I was able to pull it off, because I think that being able to see it is so much better than just being able to hear it. Let me see here. Got another question from Coco Loco says, where did you come up with the storyline character arc for Drape? All right. So I absolutely love like the underbelly of Star Wars, right? Huge Star Wars guy, went and saw it at the drive-in with my mom. Like, I don't know, 20 times, 30 times. Like we literally went to the drive-in and just would watch it over and over again. And then we'd come home and take the tickets and put them up on this bulletin board that we had in our kitchen. So I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Like all of you, I love the bounty hunters, the bad guys, sort of the seediness of Star Wars. But that's never depicted. Like they kind of dip their toes into it and they tell you that there's like this underbelly, and then they go away from it. And even like Book of Boba Fett, they really tried to make him an honorable person and not make him like the world's scariest bounty hunter, you know, like he was doing it for a heart of gold. A whole other conversation for another time. So I knew that with making my own movie, I wanted to go to the part of the Star Wars story that I care about the most. Also, I think that like trying to be Resistance or First Order would just be incredibly difficult and just create a lot of different problems. So I like said, okay, I'm going to go and plant my flag in the seedy underbelly. So spice was a big part of Book of Boba Fett. I'm like, okay, so this is canon. This exists. If anybody in the hotel asks me what's up, I can just say, hey, you guys planted this seed, not me. And then, you know, I'm something years old and I'm completely drug free, have never drank, never done drugs. No judgment against you if that's what you do. It's just not for me. It's a personal decision. And so I thought being somebody completely different would make the acting bigger and more fun. And then also, I love the idea of the paranoia of Drape. Like, you know, everybody's out to get him. He doesn't know what's going on. And I thought that that would play well with my own personal confusion of going through this experience. I've never made a movie before. I mean, I've vlogged and made little documentaries on YouTube, but I've never made a movie before. And then also with Drape being sort of under the influence the whole time, I knew that it would give me the creative ability to make the story kind of up to the viewer to decide what had really happened and what hadn't happened, because I'm not a professional writer. I'm not a professional filmmaker. So that's two strikes against me. So I thought if the storyline was like, boy loves his dog, boy loses his dog, boy finds his dog, the end, I thought that that sort of like linear storytelling would not be good, because I didn't know if I had that good of a story. But sort of telling you a story that's kind of going in lots of different directions, and it's kind of in his head, it's out of his head. I was hoping that people could watch it, and when it got to that final end scene, that that there'd be a little bit of like, ooh, what did I just watch? What did happen? What didn't happen? You know, sort of what was part of the confusion and wasn't what worked and what didn't work. So the number one rule that I kept in mind when I was making this is this. We've all seen like independent movies or smaller productions where they had a big idea on a low budget and it failed because they didn't do one important thing. And this is what I try to embrace on every decision I made. You should always lean into your weaknesses and turn those into your strengths. And then your project will work. So if I would have had this big, ambitious idea that I'm like the next Luke Skywalker, it would have fell flat on its face. But being a little shady side character who's like paranoid and inside of his mind, that gave me the ability to not talk in front of the camera a lot. It gave me the ability to have weird conversations with people. And it gave me the ability to kind of tie together loose ends. So what I really tried to focus on was, how do you take your weaknesses and make them your strengths? So everything that you see in this little project is based off of how I thought I could pull it off and make it successful and not fall flat on my face. All right, let's see here. Got some super chats. Thanks, buds. Mikey Staines, favorite Disney content out there. Hopefully this covers the cost of Drape's Drape. Dude, Drape's outfit was expensive, dude. It was very pricey. 3 curtains from Target in Orlando. It was pricey. I think Drape's costume, which I flew back home with it. It's here. If I ever need it again. I think the total Drape outfit costs like $120. Like I could have just bought something in Galaxy's Edge and it would have been cheaper. Kevin, Drape is forever canon. In our hearts, Drape will always be canon. And then CK Barry, thank you so much. I think you might owe Steve Miller Band royalties for Space Cowboy. Some people call me the Space Cowboy. Some people call me Maurice. Thank you so much, CK Barry. I appreciate that. All right, let me see here. Let me find... Giambi Dogs, well, as a professional filmmaker and writer, I think you did a fairly good for your first shot. Hey, I appreciate that. I mean, I didn't want to be embarrassed. That was the biggest thing. It's like, I didn't want to be embarrassed. And that fear will make you work really, really hard to hide all your loose ends. Rose Gold Sugar, did the Drape series get picked up by Disney Plus yet? Very creative, thought out concept. And take on the Star Wars Cruiser. Well done. Thank you so much, Rolls Gold Sugar. No, it did not get picked up by Disney Plus. It would be impossible that, you know, there's a lot of these wild stories you hear about, like, band wrote one song and then they got signed and they became successful, or guy makes fan movie and then he gets picked to direct. That would never happen for me. I am the long way and the hard way every time. So no way would that ever happen. Okay, let's move on here to another one. Oh, and by the way, Gianni Dogs, it's cool that you're a professional filmmaker. McLean Padavich. How long did it take you to clean up the spice from the floor? That stressed me out. Oh my God, McLean. Because I'm a citizen of Disneyland, I would not leave that bathroom until I had all of that spice picked up. And so I wore a black t-shirt, because you always have to wear a t-shirt or you'll sweat. And then the next shirt I wore was a ladies size double XL blouse that was kind of piratey, right? Like it had like froofy like sleeves and then it like tied. And so that was my under shirt. And then the gray curtain one goes on first. That sort of creates the poncho. And then I belted it with a sheer curtain that kind of brought it together and bunched it together. And then the actual like yellow, like the royalty curtain, I had my belt through it. That's what kept it around my neck. So that piratey shirt, the ladies blouse that I had been wearing, I used that to get all the spice up off the ground. Like I wet it and I would pick it up and I put it in the sink and then I cleaned the sink. Like I was so worried of leaving a mess and being disrespectful. There were some streaks on the floor just because when you're wiping stuff around with water and not cleaner, like it adds some streaks. But the person that cleans that bathroom, all they had to do is just do the regular mop job. They didn't have to go get a shop vac or anything like that. But that's a great question because I was so stressed out about leaving a mess. Because my whole vibe is like when I stream, I don't ever want to, and film videos, like I don't want to ever ruin the experience for anybody else. And I always want to be polite to the CMs and just like throwing cinnamon all over a bathroom floor. is the opposite of my goals. Okay, let's see here. Brandon, brother, you killed this movie. It was totally different, and totally different what I loved about it. Amazing job, man. Well, Brandon, I appreciate that. I really do appreciate, like, I put out a lot of content, put out over, 1,500 podcasts and made, hundreds of videos for YouTube. So I don't really get stage fright. But when I was watching that premiere, it got really quiet in the chat. And I was like, nobody's saying anything. Everybody hates it. And I should be embarrassed. And then I was like, you guys are being kind of quiet. And people were like, we're watching. And I was like, oh my God, I think people actually like it. And then when like Dano commented and my friends from Think the Maker got back to me and like, dude, that was awesome. And Peter left me a really lovely message over in the comments. Then it felt really, really good because it was an insane amount of work. All right. This song is horrible. Let's see what else. Ron the Drummer. When I saw your costume in Spencer's video and heard your name, I actually laughed out loud. See, that was another fun thing. It was like, with the name and the costume, I wanted it to be kind of lighthearted and not take it too seriously. And also there was a little piece of me that kind of wanted to be like, you don't have to buy one of these gnarly costumes to go there and have a good time. You can literally go to Target and buy curtains, cut a hole in it, and have fun and make it kind of like, 70s Halloween. 70s Halloween, everybody made their own costumes. That was my goal. And then the name, I was like, dude, the name's Drape because it sounds like it could be in the Star Wars universe. And it's hilarious combined with the outfit. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Rich Otto, what was everyone's reaction around you with your banter with Lieutenant Croy? Okay, so coming up next for members of Club 1313, I'm going to show them some of the raw footage from the movie. And I'm doing that for my club members, one, because their support is how I was able actually to go there and to make this movie and spend way too many days editing it. And also at a later time, I might edit together some of this footage and make a video. So hanging out with buds and showing it to them is no big deal. But there were a couple of people in the comments who were like, oh, dude, that was so rude how you yelled at that guy. What you don't know because of editing is they were asking everyone to stand up. Like literally they're trying to get everybody to stand up so there could be like a, hotel-wide dance along in the mess hall. So me yelling like that, I had to edit around the MC being like, everyone stand up. And I could tell as somebody who's, put in their 1,000 hours as being an entertainer, like I grew up in a band and singing and playing clubs and all this stuff. I could tell, you have an instinct when somebody hates you and when somebody's enjoying the banter with you. And I could tell that he was enjoying the banter and the tiff for tat. It actually, in my opinion, it made his job more fun because he had somebody to play off of. And when you have somebody to play off of, like when people are on here asking good questions, it makes this job easier for you. If everybody was just staring at you, it would not be that much fun. So that went really, really well. And as far as me yelling, like I'll let you guys in a little secret. You can kind of just do a lot of things in public. Like you can be very loud or very off color, and most people don't even notice or want to make a stink about it. Like if you've ever been to New York City, there's just insane things happening all around you, and nobody really blinks an eye because it's New York City. So yeah, I wouldn't want to make a habit of going around being rude or saying crazy things, but inside of the game aspect of it, the fair play of everybody having fun, it was not that big of a deal. And if you see the edit, you realize that I made it look way, way more intense. So it looks like for Monday's stream, yeah, Brickey's treasure box is in 44%. Oh, you have no idea what the treasure box is, guys. Oh, man. Okay, Jeremy says, no need to get too much into your opinions for the future video, but did you feel like there was enough flexibility for Drape's story to coexist with the surrounding scripted narrative? Trying to process that one, Jeremy. I'll say this. If I were to ever do anything else with Drape, and if this video were ever to become successful, I would. It looks like it's just died though. I mean, it's pretty much dead on arrival. And my goal was like, if this video got to 100,000 views, then I would green light a part 2. But if I were to do another one, these would be my goals. There would have to be a purpose and a story. Like I wouldn't just do it to do it. There would have to be a purpose and a story. I would have to feel like I could move Drape's character further along and tell you more about him, or that he would grow or evolve in some sort of way. And then another like selfish goal of mine is there's a lot of things in Galaxy's Edge that currently are just fluff, right? They're set design. And I would like to take some of those items, incorporate them into Drape's story. So you would walk through Galaxy's Edge and be like, oh, that's Drape's thing, you know, and that would be fun. Like that would be an amazing accomplishment for one of my buds. You know, this isn't the biggest channel in the world, but one of my buds that watches the videos that could walk through Galaxy's Edge and be like, oh, that's the Drape thing. And that would be really fun. So hopefully that answers your question. I was a little bit confused because, you know, you're being polite and not want me to tell you too much about the future of it. But right now, I don't think that there is a future for Drape. I got to get people watching this video and it's just not happening. Dano Channel, I am not going to mosh Isley at Chain Reaction. I didn't know that was happening, but thank you so much for making me aware of it. That's amazing. All right, let me go over. My moderator, Jeff, has picked some comments for me. Darth Vado question, or Darth Vado question. Hey, what's up, bud? Did anyone take you up on the spice offer? There was a woman when we were having dinner. Her and her husband were sitting there, and I was like, hey, you want some spice? And her and her husband were just laughing at me. And I'm like, come on, you guys like to party. And they were just laughing. Nobody took me up on the spice. I don't think anybody else wanted to. It was a mixture of cinnamon and sugar that I kept putting in all of my drinks. So technically, you know, I drink coffee and tea. So putting a little cinnamon and sugar in there was on brand. But when I had to put it in water, it was not that much fun. Yeah. See, Amanda, I know you're trying to get me to dress like Drape at Star Wars night, but I would look like an idiot. Like if the video had popped and people were way into it, then I would for sure do a Drape appearance. But I feel like if I go there, then I just look sad and pathetic. So I don't think Drape's going to show up. Amanda also said, were there any shots, scenes that you really wanted but couldn't get? No, not really. I mean, there's always stuff in the edit that you wish that you had, but it's always stuff that you just kind of feel like you need to piece together what you're doing. So like the Main Street Electrical Parade documentary I'm working on right now, it's like you get these ideas of like, oh, you know, there was a bass drum in the original like daytime parade at Disneyland that ran in the late 50s, early 60s. And then the Main Street Electrical Parade has the big like neon or you know, lit up drum, and then Paint the Night has the drum that Peter Pan sits on behind Tinkerbell. So you get this idea of like, oh, if I can stitch together like boom, 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 it shows the lineage of Disney storytelling. And so when you're making something like this, there's like, oh, I have this and I have that. If I could find somewhere in my footage this bridge to bring the ideas together, it would be so awesome. So there wasn't anything that I wasn't able to get that I didn't. I did want to talk to I think her name's Ronnie or Wani, that looks like Greedo, whatever Greedo is. Sorry to Greedo's people, don't want to be offensive. Shout out to inclusivity. But I wanted to get a conversation with her, but she was always just mobbed with people. So I never really I just got a little like, ma'am, walking through the hallway, which was pretty perfect. Andrew Cohen, thank you for the super chat. Thank you from two fans who have enjoyed the parks mostly on tour. Your content got us through the pandemic, and we can't wait to bring our son, born 10/2020, into this experience. Cheers. Andrew, thank you so much, bud. It literally means so much to me that people are willing to go on these adventures with me and click play. So love that. Jeremy says, hey man, no matter how many views it has, it was incredible. You did it. And when people look back, it will always be the first fan film at the Halcyon. I appreciate that, Jeremy. You know, you get, there's a big push and pull, right? In the creative mind of you want bigger numbers because that means success, and success means that you've earned the right to make more stuff. So there's that part of your brain that like you need the numbers to keep doing stuff, but then there's like the emotional part of you that's like, I'm just happy that I did it. Like, guys, making movies is hard, and I made one. I'm not saying it's the world's greatest one, but I pulled it off and I did it. And so, yeah, proud of that. There's Amanda still trying to talk me into going as Drape Star Wars night. I don't think that's going to happen. Sometimes things just work on a slow burn, Drape. It's true. It's true. I mean, who knows? And that's the cool thing about it is that if I would have done a standard review video, there's a really, really good chance that it could have just died on the vine, right? But the fact that I did something that could live a little bit longer, there's a chance that people could watch it and that they could come back around to it. So it's, you know, theoretically it's evergreen. So maybe it has a shot. Maybe it does. Okay. Leonie has a question. Hey, Brickey, would you have liked additional day for the experience, more time for Drape footage, or even time to relax? I think if I just had another day, I just would have worked like a dog and been more stressed out. So when it wrapped up, I was ready to leave. I think maybe I'd like to do it again and not have to be so stressed out about making this thing. But I know me, if I went back, I'd be like, well, I gotta do another video. So yeah, it's weird when you turn your passion into your profession. Oh, Ron the Drummer has a good idea. You got to push the Drape narrative at May the 4th. Get in other creators' videos as Drape. So like basically go on tour, like promote Drape as a character, like when you go on tour to promote your movie. I like that. Okay, let's see here. What about Nerd Squared's question? How about Drape host a live stream? All right, let's do this. Drape is dying at like 13,000. If Drape, I mean, I'm not making another Drape episode until the video gets to 100,000. But if we get the Drape video to say, we can double it. If it somehow doubles and gets to 25,000 views, Drape will do a live stream. Why did I just agree to that? And I love that I'm like if I could get to 25,000 views. I mean, there's some people that literally put zero effort into things and just boom, 25,000 views. I'm like, guys, if this video that I really worked hard on, if it gets to 25,000, I'll do more. Oh, I'm so pathetic. All right, let's see here. Chris Murray, my man. Drape Star Wars night appearance fun. I mean, I don't need money to do it. I need self-confidence. Like, I have the costume already. I mean, I appreciate the super chat, Chris. You're my dog. But I've already got the ticket for Star Wars night. I've already got the costume. It's just I don't know if I have the willpower. Let's see here. Samantha Hazel and Melissa, sorry about that. How receptive to your storyline were the cast members? Did any cast members seem to play along over the course of your stay? Everybody was cool about it. There was nobody, I mean, everybody was having fun, and it's like the gnarlier parts of Drape were done in the editing and in the voiceover. So The interactions with the cast members were pretty friendly, so it didn't seem to it didn't it didn't seem to rub anybody the wrong way, or there wasn't anybody who's like, oh, I don't want to play along. Like, the CMs are there to play along and to have fun with everybody, and they're just as much into it as the guest are. So if your job was to play make believe, and if people just leave you hanging, it would make your job not fun. However, if people are there and willing to get rowdy with you and have fun with you, then it makes your job easier. So yeah, there was zero pushback on any of that, or nobody that didn't seem to have fun with it. Justin Martin says, Brickey, what inspired the character to be strung out and looking for a big score while trying to erase any trace of his being? I kind of talked about that earlier, Justin. Thank you for the super. But a lot of the character was built into the editing style. And then I wanted him to be broken, right? Like, Disney Plus takes a lot of these Star Wars stories and they clean them up, right? And I just wanted him to be fundamentally broken. And part of the idea of him being broken is that, I mean, this kind of goes more into his backstory, but fundamentally I wanted the character, this is getting so deep for how dumb it is, but I wanted this to be somebody who technically believes in the Resistance. However, the Resistance has let him down. So it's like somebody, like, you've probably talked to them, they're called adults, that got jaded on democracy, you know, like, oh, why vote? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't count. I wanted to play into that narrative with this character. So the idea was that it's somebody who fundamentally believes in the Resistance, that doesn't believe in the First Order, but has been so let down that he just doesn't care. You know, he's looking out for himself, because ultimately he's learned that selfishness is the key to survival in his moment in time. So that was kind of the idea that it came together. So then whenever he would talk to people, he would just be selfish or always working angles for himself. Like, I did put a decent amount of thought into it. It is a confidence fun. AS with the willpower fun. Amanda with the Drape Star Wars, my confidence fun. It's May the 4th. Let's get the video. Drape will host a live stream at 25,000 views. If by some chance we could get the video to 20K by May the 3rd, I'll be there as Drape. No photos. Okay, let's see here. Adventures Beyond Adversity. I think you'd be good. Like, playing out all the different rooms, I think you'd be very, I mean, you know, it's Disney, so they're mega ADA accessible, but I think, yeah, I'm not the only no, even the bridge you'd be good in. The lightsaber training might be a little bit boring for you, but I stood and it was boring, so I don't I think you'd be fine. All right, it looks like I'm having a little bit of stream issues here. Sorry about that. Well, if you can hear the audio, then I'll just keep talking. It looks like I was trying with my new setup. I'm technically capable to stream in HD, but it just looks like that's not working out so well. So I'll answer this question. And Federalist said, did you get a sense of how cast would respond to people trying to break the fourth wall? Yeah, people, it seemed like the cast members were pretty good at being dismissive of people asking things out of that. I mean, Disney polite and sort of, because I mean, there were people that would have to just ask like questions, but even though there's not a lot of people in the hotel, as the hotel gets buzzing, the people that are the for real, like big character actors, they're just always swarmed around people. So it would be weird that somebody would walk up to one of those characters and be like, do you know where there's a bathroom? Or how much do you guys make? Where are you from? You're doing good at being a Star Wars guy, but what's your real job? Or what do you do? So I don't think that would be that big of a problem. Unfortunately, it looks like once you're live, there's no way to actually downgrade the stream and like jump down to like a lower quality. I think whatever you go out the gate with, you got to go out with. So I guess I'm just going to go ahead and end it here. I think I'm going to go ahead and just end it here, and we'll be starting our Club 1313 stream, where I'm going to show some footage for club members. And I want to thank everybody for showing up. Sorry, it's just distracting because some people are saying it's fine, some people aren't. Live streaming, it's always a pain in the butt, the whole connection and everything. But this is what we'll do here. I will see you guys on Monday. I don't know if I'll be in HD, but we will do Brickey's Mystery Treasure Box. So glad that that's what you guys picked, because the treasure box is over there. I don't know if you can see over there right now. And we'll go through the treasure box, and one of you will get Brickey's treasure. Oh, which one? Who knows? See you on Monday. And I will be starting the stream for Club 1313 over at the private link that's been posted in the Discord. Thank you guys so much for showing up. I'm excited to get the studio built, slowly put it all together. We'll figure it out. Maybe HD's not going to be our friend, or maybe I need to work on something else. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and I'll see all my club members real soon. Bye, everybody.